Hey everybody, it's Leroy from Leroy Gaming, and today I am bringing you coverage of a little game called Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors. It feels like only yesterday when I found a magical little game called Vampire Survivors and said in my video that it's the best $2.99 you will spend that year on Steam, and it's so funny that Vampire Survivor became such a huge hit that everybody started kind of ripping it off, and now Vampire Survivor type games are almost a little subgenre of itself. So today, because I love RPGs so much and I also have a soft spot in my heart for Vampire Survivor, I thought I would share with you this game, Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors, which is in many ways a mix between Vampire Survivors and an RPG kind of system. So Pathfinder, this is a official Pathfinder license. For those of you who don't know, Pathfinder is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, just a slight offshoot of it. So I'll go ahead and show you this game today, the first couple levels, how this plays, and my feedback. And if you are interested in getting this game, it enters early access today, September the 14th. So you will find a link to the Steam early access in the description below. Make sure to provide me with comments and feedback if you would like to see more content about this game. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now you're gonna right away notice some big differences interface wise here. There are 3 different characters you can play as: the fighter, the rogue, and the wizard. And then you get to pick one companion to actually go with you. They're just gonna auto follow you and support you with auto attacks. That's the big thing here. Now, this does have a roguelike element, so the first time you play it's going to be kind of difficult and you are likely to die. I mean, you will die. And then when you come back, you're going to get experience and you're going to be able to level up your character, and also you're going to get to unlock certain skills. So you're going to get these points, these coins, as you gain experience to level up your stats. Each one of your stats does something different. So for example, here, strength increases the damage of weapons and directly affects the potency of certain fighter abilities like shield block. Dexterity increases base projectile speed and directly affects the potency of certain rogue abilities like nimble dodge. Constitution's good for everybody, increases total health and health regen. Intelligence increases damage of spells and directly affects potency of certain wizard abilities like force mastery. Then wisdom decreases cooldown, and charisma increases base range and size areas of spells. And then it kind of shows you what the caps are at each level range here, in case you want to dump your points into one. Now, in addition to the stats, each character is going to have a variety of talents that you can unlock with points. Now there's different tiers that are going to unlock as you level up, and you're going to notice as you put points into it, it's going to require higher levels. So I'm only level 2 of this wizard that I'm going to show you here, but you can put different points in. So level 1 here gave extra EXP. Here you're going to get like a shield charge. Here lets you do more damage if you don't move for a certain amount of time, and so forth. And then you can, as you level up, get mastery in different arts. So if you want to specialize, let's say, in electric magic, you can put a point into that, or cold magic. For now I have a couple points, so let's go ahead and put one in each, why not? And then each of the classes is a completely different setup. So the rogue here is going to be more mobile, the fighter is more tanky, and they're going to focus around that. For example, you can also unlock and upgrade the different potions, and potions you're going to fight out in the world. And then finally you have quests, and quests are one of the ways to get EXP and extra coins and money. And if you don't like the specific missions, you can go ahead and spend some of your gold to reroll. Simple as that. So for now, let's go ahead and jump in. We're gonna go on kind of the normal base difficulty. That's all that's unlocked at first. And we're gonna play as the wizard, and we're gonna have, let's say, the fighter be our support. Now when you start at floor here, the controls are with WASD. Again, notice in the corner, it's gonna tell you which way to go to collect chests. And what I found an effective way to play this right off the bat is to go and just beeline for the different chests, because they're gonna give you upgrades. Just like with any of these games, they're gonna auto attack and auto target for you. And at first it starts kind of slow. When you stand in the area, it's gonna kind of load up like this, and when it completes, it's gonna open a chest. Now it's gonna do a die roll here. You can disable this as well, and then depending what you roll is gonna dictate what you get. And notice right off the bat, we get some money and we got some upgrades to our base attack. And so if we had more abilities unlocked, as I'll discuss in a second, you would have other options. But early on, this kind of is a way to kind of force the upgrades for your main attack or base attack. And here we go. We just leveled up from gaining experience, and you get to pick from a variety of abilities. Notice they come in different rarities. All that the rarities do is dictate how much of an upgrade it gives you at any given time. Now you're going to be able to get 4 total attacks, including your main attack, and 4 passives. So you want to be picky with this on what you pick. So if you want to go for a cold build, then Howling Blizzard is pretty good here. So this one creates a cone of frigid air towards a random enemy within range and tells you what the damage, what the size, what the range is. Or maybe you want Frostbite. Even though it's common, what you care about here is the attack. So if you want a beam attack, you would choose this. Or let's say you want Flame Vortex. A fiery vortex forms next to the caster before moving away in an erratic pattern. I like this one a lot. Or here's an option for a passive. You have 4 extra rerolls per adventure. So I'm assuming this is to reroll these. If there's another way to utilize this, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that what this is. So let's just take a wild guess and see what else could pop up. So here you go. Here are some other options. We could do Fireball. I like Fireball a lot. There's Force Barrage is your main attack. And Sudden Bolt is really fun too. A bolt of lightning shoots down from a stormy cloud kind of randomly. Let's do this one. I like lightning attacks. So now... So again, we got 1 chest and we leveled up. Can be kind of quick right off the bat. So now again we have the option: do we want to upgrade our current attacks? Do we like one of the new passives, or do we want to upgrade a current attack? So I'm going to keep updating the Sudden Bolt for now. Now the Fire Breath is from picking up a special type of potion. You may have, if you've played Vampire Survivor, there's certain ones that are like that. Here's a nice little passive. Stun effects of your electric spells last longer, so that's a possible passive. Here's another really fun attack, Falling Star. I'm going to pick that one up, so now we'll have 1 lightning and 1 fire zone attack. Now let's talk about graphics. So this is obviously kind of like a 3D graphics. I showed off the wizard because I really like the spell effects that the wizard can get. It's a really flashy class, but for example, the other classes like the fighter, not quite as flashy right now. I know it's early access, but the spell effects aren't quite as impressive. The rogue also is a little less flashy, so that doesn't mean anything to some people, but I kind of like having a bit of a visual spectacle. And again, here, this is the first blue one we got. All this means is this upgrade is going to be more dramatic for us than any of these other ones. But if, for example, you care more about upgrading one of these other effects, then clearly that's going to be your priority. Like, I like the Sudden Bolt. That's just my personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that instead. Now you're going to notice there's a timer. Time survived here. And enemy slain. So our goal is to actually make it through levels. unlike Vampire Survivors that has like a 30-minute time frame, this instead you're trying to kill a certain amount of enemies, survive as long as you can, and then the quest will end. So let's take a look at some other upgrades here. You have a 4.5% chance, increased chance to find chests. Chests are great. Huge farm of power. Now again, we unlock 3. The little random rolls right there dictating how much you get is kind of a cute idea. Obviously, Pathfinder D&D inspired. I do wish they added a system, and again, I've only played about 4 or 5 levels of this. I do wish it had kind of the Vampire Survivor setup where attacks morphed, and we can get combinations of passive and actives. Something like that would have been really cool. As you can see here, we're getting a lot of upgrades pretty quickly right now. Now, I want to point out this passive for freeze time. Every class has its own special attack that charges up. The wizard one is freeze time. So this would increase the duration of the freeze time and reduces the cooldown while it's active, or reduces all the other cooldowns. So you'll notice in the bottom left hand, that's ready to go. So I can use it anytime I want. It's best to use when things get a little chaotic and crazy, obviously. Now, I will say that in this game, speed is big. Rogues have a natural benefit of being innately faster and having a passive skill in your kind of level up tree to make you faster. And then you can find a passive skill as you level up in here that I'm looking for that will make you run faster as well. And so that's kind of a big deal, because being able to outmaneuver these zombies and different creatures as you go is a big deal. And notice, there we go. We slayed the 400 enemies, and now we have 23 seconds before you teleport out. Now you can go manually to the teleporter, but what I like to do is beeline for the nearest chest and try and get one more chest at least out of it. If you can get to it before it gets to the full countdown, you will notice it pauses the time when you're standing on it, but you can't always make it. So I think in this case we're gonna just miss it. Yeah, we just missed it. If we had gone to it even with 1 second to go, it would have reloaded. So the beginning is very easy, just like with any type of these games. But now we get to level 2. And now we get to slay 500 more enemies. There is a boss, and there are, I would say, bosses as you go on. Also, you notice the load screens are gonna give you a little bit of a story every time you go from level to level. Now again, there are a variety of abilities and spells that the different classes are going to unlock as you play. And on any given little playthrough, you can only have a total of 3. I've already picked these, so it's not even going to roll any other options here for me, which is perfectly fine. But that means on any given playthrough, you can have a variety of different combinations. The supporting character, in this case the warrior, I mean, helps out a little bit. I think it's a little bit of a gimmick. I wish that they had more powers that they would develop, for example. Maybe that's something they're going to add in early access. This is also a bit of an annoying part of the encounter. It happens on the 2nd floor. These things summon, and you noticed how they have like heat-seeking missiles. If you have a character that moves fast, or you have the passive that has you move fast, in those cases, you can get away from them. But if you're slow like I am right now, it's a bit frustrating because I'm not being able to get away from things as effectively. Now I was able to freeze time right there using my special ability, as I mentioned, and that lets you kind of get away from it. But it's not something that recharges that quickly. So if you look in the lower left hand corner, it's not like you can spam it. Luckily, I'm able to get health potions at a decent rate. So again, let's see here. You can increase your armor. I still have one more room for passive, so I'm kind of hoping to get the movement speed upgrade. Because again, I find it very difficult to survive, especially the boss fight. I've yet to beat the boss fight, but again, I have not played this game that much yet. As you power up, it's going to be easier, just as with games like Vampire Survivor. There we go, let's see here. Nope. But here's a nice golden chest. Notice this one has, if I were to roll higher, would have gotten some purple upgrade. We haven't been lucky enough for that yet. As you notice, these chests are a significant increase to your power, so getting more of those more quickly is gonna be a big emphasis. And again, no luck still from getting the speed buff. The music is quite nice also, as you noticed, probably. Quite epic feeling. And we're almost at 400 out of 500 kills. So we're getting close to beating this level. My goal in this kind of initial look and kind of first look let's play is to hopefully get you to the first boss. There it is, that's what I was talking about. Fleet-footed increases your movement speed, so even though these are blues, this is what we're waiting for. And again, it's amazing what a difference being able to move fast is. But I feel like in these type of games, that's powerful no matter what you're playing. And again, I'm trying to make a beeline for the chest. We have 16 seconds. There we go. We made it. And notice here, it paused the time. So we're safe. We're able to get this upgrade here. And we'll try to make a run for one more. There's a chance we could get one more. It's highly unlikely, but... Now again, there are many levels in this. I don't know how much the mechanics are going to change as you level up. Here we are, floor number 3, a little bit more of the story. Gotta kill 500 more enemies. And I believe the next level is going to be the boss, so we will be checking that out. I mean, as long as I don't die. That could always happen. We do have our stop time ready to go. No whammies, no whammies. Yeah, that was a good roll. So we got 4 nice upgrades. Here we go. And again, fleet foot. I know it's only 1%, but I tend to be pretty biased towards movement speed. Now, as you'll see, early on it was mainly just zombies and some ghosts. Now you have elites that you follow, and also enemies that are going to do range attacks against you. So it does start getting more and more chaotic. The game is very forgiving the first couple levels, and definitely does scale up quite dramatically. And once again, I'm making my way towards the next possible chest. You also see the quest log on the right hand. We've completed 2 new quests. There we go. We're gonna get another movement speed. Now you do have to obviously find a balance between upping your offensive skills and defensive skills. If you played a warrior, you can play a whole format where you have a chance to absorb damage and then have kind of like a shield attack that retaliates. And in that case, you may want to lean more into stacking armor. The rogue and the wizard, for the most part, I've noted, are best because they have so many more range attacks, focusing on kind of just avoiding the enemies and being nimble. And in my case, I chose a lot of spells that are very kind of passive AoE from ranged, so I can kind of run around, run away, and have my powers nuke things. You can kind of kite around. It seems to be quite effective. Here we go. Notice I use my freeze time to take advantage and be able to get a chest. That's a strategic way where you can use it. Oh, we almost made it. If you had 1 more point, we would have gotten an epic upgrade. And the music's getting nice and tense here. And again, in 20 monsters, we will unlock level 4, getting very close to the first boss. And as I mentioned, it is kind of built to be pretty ruthless initially, especially the boss, as you'll see. I do find that the wizard and the rogue have the easiest time early on. The fighter struggles the most because he tends to be slower and a little more melee close range focus from my experience. And here it is, General Grave. Again and again you return, and for what? My lord has overcome every obstacle set on his path and turned every adversary into an ally. Join us. Then it's time to bring his rule to an end. His rule is eternal. You will not stop him. There we go. And I'm gonna notice he has that charge ability, which can be quite brutal. We had our shielding, which was able to build up. So at this point, I'm trying to stay at range as much as I can with him, hoping to build up my shielding before he gets his hit off. Now you see, my shielding has been able to absorb his 1 big hit. If you don't have that shielding, or if you're not fast enough when it comes to movement, you're not going to be able to outrun that. And this is why early on, you're going to just get one shot by him. Well, not necessarily one shot, but you're going to get killed rather quickly, and it can be a little frustrating because there's literally nothing you can do to beat him. But part of that is kind of intentional in these kind of setups. It's supposed to be really difficult at first, and then you get a little bit more powerful. Notice, see there, my shielding wasn't ready. And so again, he is technically catching me and hitting me. And if he hit me every single time with that, then I would be dead no matter what within a short period of time. We're actually doing really well against them. And now we go into the next phase. So bosses have multiple phases. It's summoning a bunch of minions. Now, full disclosure, I actually haven't beat this boss yet, so there's a very good chance he'll beat me. Maybe we'll beat him if we get lucky. But either way, in this first look, you get to see what it's like. Ooh. Let's see, we're getting swarmed pretty hard here. So this is where it's so very important to have good DPS setups. And in that case, in that situation, our special ability really saved us, and we just built it up again. So we are, in a moment, trying to get as many upgrades as I can. There we go. We are yet again freezing time. We're able to run through everything. That's absolutely huge. Okay, we are again. I'm focusing on fleet-footed. We've built up. His powers get more insane now. He is summoning elite enemies. And again, we're kind of beat up here, so not in the best of spots. And the music gets appropriately, oh, epic! So that was the furthest we've ever gone. Again, it gets really quite tough, but every time you get a little stronger. So even defeat, it's not truly defeat, because you're going to get EXP to progress, you're going to get gold, and then when you're done with this, you can see your stats for the run, which is pretty cool. And then when you go to the main menu, it's going to save. You can claim your EXP and rewards, and you're going to be able to use the gold, for example, to unlock new potions. Your character here, see here, we got more coins. So again, I've been focusing on charisma and intelligence, so you can do that some more to power them up. You're going to unlock more talents. So a lot of fun stuff here. And you kind of go on like that. Again, 3 different play styles. I found the wizard to be the most fun, the rogue the second, and the fighter so far my least favorite. Alright guys, so that's a little first look of Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors. If you are interested in giving it a shot, it does enter early access today on Steam. Again, the link is below. Drop a like if you found this video helpful. If you'd like to see more content from me following this little roguelike RPG, very vampire survivor kind of inspired meeting tabletop flavor, let me know in the comments. And as always, subscribe to see more from me. And thank you for all your support. I'll see you guys in the next video.